Dutton Ranch just ended its first season with a gunshot, a pregnancy reveal, and 5 of the coldest words any villain has delivered in the entire Yellowstone universe. And I honestly think the finale did exactly what a first season finale is supposed to do. It answered enough to satisfy and withheld enough to make waiting for season 2 genuinely painful. Let's walk through everything that happened in El Padrino. The fentanyl discovery that reframes this entire season. What the tally book actually revealed, why Rob Will's death landed the way it did, and who pulled that trigger. The firefight on Dutton land. The pregnancy nobody saw coming. And those 5 words at the very end that turned a Western drama into something that felt genuinely dangerous in the most exciting possible way. The episode opens immediately in the middle of conflict. Rip and Beth are already at 10 Petal Ranch, intercepting the latest cattle delivery from Mariano's operation in Mexico, working off the intel Austin gave them last episode. Rob Will shows up to throw them off his property. And when Rip refuses to leave, Rob Will makes the single worst decision of his entire life. He calls Beth the wrong word in front of Rip Wheeler. Rip knocks him to the ground once, twice, 3 times. And I honestly think Cole Hauser could have played that scene all day, and I would have watched every second of it. But the more important discovery happens while Rip is busy rearranging Rob Will's face. Beth picks up his tally book. The same ledger Wes Ayers was investigating before Rob Will had him killed. And what she finds in it is a code. Certain cattle are marked Doctor on Arrival, which turns out to be exactly what it sounds like. Those specific animals need to be cut open when they arrive. They let Rob Will go without getting a full confession and take the marked cattle back to Dutton Ranch for inspection. And that's when Everett, the Navy veteran who has quietly become one of this show's most essential characters, makes the discovery that blows the entire season open. 3 buckets of fentanyl. Cut out of live animals. Smuggled across the border inside cattle that were moving through 10 Petal's operation, completely legally on forged paperwork. Street value of what they're looking at roughly $2 million. Rip immediately understands what this means. Someone is going to come looking for it. And whoever that someone is has the resources to move fentanyl across international borders inside livestock. He urges Zachariah and Azul to leave before the situation escalates beyond what any of them signed up for. They refuse. They're staying. And I honestly love that moment more than most of the action that follows it, because those 2 men choosing loyalty over self-preservation is everything Rip tried to build when he recruited them earlier in the season. Now let's talk about Beulah, because this finale gives Annette Bening her most important scenes of the entire season, and she delivers every single one of them. When she finds out the Duttons have the fentanyl, she spirals. She tries to reach Joaquin, and when Everett finally sits her down and demands the full truth, she gives it to him. All of it. The 1,981 Fort Worth story, the Motel Luke, the killing, Mariano covering for her and fleeing to Mexico, taking Joaquin in afterward as the price of that debt, and then the drought. When things got desperate, Joaquin came to her with an offer from Mariano, by now a powerful cartel boss in Mexico, to let 10 Petal become a transit point for fentanyl smuggled inside cattle. She accepted. That is how all of this started. A 30-year-old debt cashed in during a drought. And now $2 million worth of cartel product is sitting on a ranch down the road, and Mariano is already moving. He sends an armed hit squad to Dutton Ranch, a real one. Masked, organized, and coming in hard. What follows is a genuine firefight. Rip, Azul, Zachariah, and Everett holding the line against men who do this for a living. They win. The cartel men are repelled. Azul takes a bullet in the process. Not fatal, but enough to tell you this war has a real cost. And Mariano himself is not among the dead. He is not there at all. He is elsewhere, securing what belongs to him from Beulah directly, while his men create the distraction. And while all of this is happening at Dutton Ranch, something completely different is happening at 10 Petal. Rob Will finds Oreana in her room. She is packing. She is done. And Rob Will, the man who threatened to kill his own brother, who has spent this entire season being the most dangerous and least redeemable person in Rio Paloma, sits down with his daughter and actually talks to her. He tells her he is proud of her. It is the most human Rob Will has been in 9 episodes, and the show earns it rather than forcing it. Because we have always known through Oreana that there is a father underneath all the destruction. He lets her go. She walks upstairs, there is a knock at the door, Rob Will answers it, and Joaquin is standing there. A single shot rings out. Oreana comes running downstairs and finds her father in a pool of blood, and Joaquin is already gone. I honestly think the execution of Rob Will is the most morally complex moment of the entire season, because Joaquin did not kill his brother in rage or panic. He made a calculated decision and carried it out with precision. After losing the succession, after the phone call to Mariano that was described in the previous episode as pressing a nuke, after everything Beulah's choice cost him, Joaquin's answer is to remove the problem at the source. And it works. Rob Will is dead. The man who killed Wes, who threatened to kill Joaquin, who called his own mother's succession decision a betrayal, he is gone. And what we're left with is Beulah arriving home to find her son lying on the floor, and Oreana kneeling over him in grief. Beulah, who has already had 1 heart attack this season, looking at the second catastrophic loss this family has absorbed in a single week. And Joaquin somewhere in the night, having done the thing he told his brother he would do. And then there is Oreana, and the revelation that the show drops in the middle of all of this chaos. Oreana is pregnant. She didn't tell her family. She didn't tell anyone. Instead, she found Carter and told him they needed to run. Leave Rio Paloma completely. Start over somewhere else, away from the Jacksons and the Duttons and everything that has been pulling them both in directions neither of them chose. And Carter, who ended the previous episode with absolutely no direction, said, yes, he is going to pack his things, they will meet, and they will leave. While Carter is alone packing at a friend's house, Mariano's men arrive. They do not knock. They ambush him, knock him unconscious, put a bag over his head, and throw him into the trunk of a car. And then Mariano calls Beth. And this is the moment the whole episode has been building toward. 5 words. Calm, measured, completely certain of himself. I have your boy. The season ends right there. Beth hears those words and the screen cuts. No resolution, no response, no indication of what happens next. Just Mariano on a phone somewhere in Texas, and a mother who would level entire cities for the people she loves, finding out her son is in the hands of a cartel boss who just sent armed men to her property. The war that has been building all season just got completely personal in a way the Yellowstone universe has rarely managed this quickly. I want to say something honest about what this finale also leaves completely unresolved. Because I think the best thing about a season 2 renewal at this point in the show's life is how much real story is still sitting on the table. Both ranches' ownership is in question 10 Petal, with no clear heir standing after Beulah's health and Rob Will's death, and Dutton Ranch operating without the cattle infrastructure they came to Texas to build. Carter and Oreana's situation is genuinely opaque. A teenage pregnancy, a kidnapping, and two families at war is a lot for two young people who are still figuring out whether they even understand what love is. Joaquin's future is completely uncertain. He killed his brother and set Mariano's full fury in motion, and the show has been building him as someone with genuine moral complexity rather than just another villain. And Beulah, who has effectively lost both sons in the space of a single episode, is the character I am most curious to see in season 2, because Annette Bening has built something genuinely extraordinary in this role, and I think the most interesting version of her story is still ahead. All 9 episodes of Dutton Ranch Season 1 are streaming right now on Paramount+. Season 2 is confirmed and already in production, with new episodes expected in 2027. Season 2 will pick up immediately after the events of this finale. No time jump, no reset, right where we left off. Carter in a trunk, Beth on a phone, and Mariano Reyes somewhere in Texas, waiting to find out what the Duttons are actually made of when their son's life is what's on the line. Drop a comment and tell me, did Rob Will's death shock you? And do you think Oreana's pregnancy is going to bring Carter and the Jacksons into the same corner by the end of season 2? Because after that phone call, I honestly do not think Mariano understood what he just started. And I cannot wait to watch Beth and Rip show him exactly what that mistake costs.